We begin with a story from India, where a child prodigy who has entered the Indian record books twice as a young drummer is aiming for a world record. The 6-year-old boy from southern Madras has his name etched in the Limca Book of Records, the Indian version of the Guinness Book of World Records. He is down as the youngest Indian drummer. Born to a musical family, his career started when he was just 3 years old. It was a complete solo performance for 12 minutes. His proud parents want him to be known as the best drummer. His parents hope that he becomes a famous drummer one day. They aim for him to learn from the best drummers so that he can reach his full potential. The little drummer appears totally focused on his objective. He wants to play with the best Indian musicians and do them and his parents proud. He clearly has a passion for his music. The youngster owes his talent to his ancestral lineage. The young boy is also a rhythm programmer, playing all percussion instruments, and he often works with music directors from the South Indian film industry and Bollywood stalwart Anu Malik. He is learning professional drumming from internationally acclaimed drummers. His parents have encouraged him in his passion as much as they are able by supporting him. As well as the best coaching facilities, they have made a soundproof room for their son to train on his favourite musical instrument. His parents are ready to send him abroad to pursue his passion. The frame drum is one of the oldest and simplest types of drums. It usually consists of a single skin stretched over a thin shell of wood or clay. But the frame drum evolves into a completely different beast in the hands of a professional. This young drummer has an amazing talent, and with the help and support of his family and teachers, he will no doubt go a long way and make a name for himself.
A piece of history goes under the hammer. It was during his second African expedition that Dr. David Livingstone wrote his desperate letter. On the 25th of May 1859, he placed it inside a bottle at the mouth of the Zambezi River. He put it in the sand 10 feet from a spot marked X on a beacon to summon help. Experts say it's an important piece of history. It's an open letter to any passing commander who happens to come upon it. In it, he asks for urgent supplies for a member of his crew who is suffering from fever. He asks especially for salt provisions. If it hadn't been found, Livingstone's plight would have been desperate. The letter was found in the next month, and provisions did reach him. The letter is a part of a collection of items owned by Quentin Keynes, the great-grandson of Charles Darwin. It includes a copy of Moffat's missionary labours and scenes from Southern Africa, signed by both Livingstone and Moffat. The collection gives an historical perspective into Livingstone's travels. The letters were written when Livingstone was already a celebrity. He had been to Victoria Falls and returned to England and written his book. He was very much celebrated. He returned to Africa to explore the Zambezi River. The letter alone is estimated to be worth £15,000 to £20,000, and there's already been a huge international interest in owning a piece of exploration history.
Finally, from our stories from around the world's most advanced walking robot has been making its first UK appearance in London's Science Museum. It's the first chance for Britain to see Asimo, advanced step in innovative mobility in action. It is shaped like a human, stands 1.2 metres high and weighs 52 kilograms. It's the only upright robot that can climb stairs, turn corners and make predictions to adjust its motion by altering its centre of gravity. It's taken almost 20 years to refine Asimo to where it is now. Scientists made their first prototype to move forward in 1986 before studying how humans walk. Using this information, later versions were refined, bringing walking flexibility in real time. The latest machine is at the cutting edge of robotic technology. Asimo is also able to recognize people, calculate distances, and respond to instructions. Future robots, though, will be taken a step further so they can deal with the unpredictable. New research is underway to develop more intelligent humanoid robots, which in the future could assist humans and become helpers for the elderly and disabled.
Now we dive into the world of business, and specialty coffee buyers have urged African producers to improve the quality of their coffee. They can do this through increasing the capacity of growers to discern the quality of their own bean. A conference dubbed the world's wildest coffee has brought together leading coffee industry players, roasters and African producers. The meeting, held in the Kenyan capital Nairobi, saw various coffee houses showing off their best coffee beans. Players discussed the best possible ways to grow quality beans. The message from the conference was that with coffee prices at historic lows due to global oversupply, African growers can only survive by producing top quality or gourmet beans. The conference brought together companies, government officials and buyers from around 20 countries. These included Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Burundi, Zimbabwe and Rwanda. They heard some good comments about African coffees despite the problems facing the industry. An American buyer of African coffee stated that most of the African coffee beans are great. He said they have a beautiful one-pointed taste on the palate with very low acidity, medium body, but a great finishing taste. But Africa's ability to produce specialty coffee remains uncertain because weak prices have left farmers with very little money to maintain good crop husbandry. Some of the world's finest coffees are grown in Africa, but the income of the farmers needs to be improved. Farmers like Mike Miner seems to be doing better than many farmers in Kenya. He says that on his coffee farm it takes a lot of patience for him to maintain his farm. He says that he is operating at a loss and he is facing many problems. The problem is the market. Even if you produce the best grade coffee, the farmers are not allowed to sell where they want. The government is very involved in the marketing. Many farmers complain that as producers they are fetching less every year, whilst the consuming countries are getting much more money for the same coffee. Many like Miner do not see fairness in maintaining coffee farms. Miner believes that the farmers support the government a lot, but without them, the government will not get very far economically. So if the government do not do something about the situation, they are going to get out of the coffee growing business and go into other businesses like flour, tea or whatever else will bring in money. Some farmers have cut down their farms as a result of the losses they are facing. This is a measure that may have been hard, but a necessary decision to make. The bulk of African coffee is exported raw, although African producers are trying to step up production of coffee in finished form, ready for the shop shelf, be it beans or instant coffee. Coffee remains an important crop for the economies of the 25 producing countries and therefore requires a very strategic intervention to effectively address the imbalances in coffee production and marketing that have very negative effects on the local producers. Coffee constitutes 10% of all foreign earnings of IACO members countries, while Africa's overall annual earnings from the crop stand at $4 billion. However, the collapse of the quota system in 1989, coupled with internal difficulties in the major producing countries, has resulted in lost production.
Moving on to Japan, where the latest wonder product has been invented, spray-on stockings. This latest invention seems to have answered every woman's prayer, with a facsimile of silk stockings that you can now spread over your legs, a fashion technique that could mean women will never have to worry about tearing again. The idea was arrived at during a sweltering summer when a woman in the president of Nissan Medico complained that she didn't want to wear stockings in the heat. The creator wanted to invent something that made legs look beautiful but wouldn't hide the pedicure. The product, called Air Stocking, is a silk aerosol which was a hit when it was put on sale last year with 1.2 million cans on the market. The latest version of the stocking is waterproof. It won't be peeled off when crossing legs, but can be scrubbed off with soap easily. The spray consists of ultra-fine silk particles to form a cover for the legs. They are run-proof, waterproof, and have passed allergy tests. It will go on sale in Japan late February. And it will be shipped to 14 other countries, including Europe, North America, and Asia in the spring. Air Stocking was received as great news for the many aspiring bare-legged women in Tokyo who can now face the hot and humid summer months with a much cooler accessory in their wardrobe. The Air Stocking is priced at 3,000 yen, about $28. The can contains about 30 days worth of stocking. The company expects to sell about 1 million containers in Japan and 1 million overseas. It is available in 3 colours: natural, terracotta and bronze. The product is really easy to use. It dries very quickly. You just have to spread it over your skin. You have to be very careful about your clothes as well, because it does come with a warning that it can mark clothes. An amazing invention. It's a wonder no one has come up with this handy little product before, and it does look great.
We begin the environment and health stories with a look back at the progress of the Congestion Charge in London. A year after the introduction of the controversial Congestion Charge to stop cars coming into London, it's being hailed as a success by transport chiefs. It's already reduced traffic and pollution levels in the central zone and is being watched by other cities around the world as a blueprint to cut road use. The levy was set at £5 a day during rush hour. Delays in congestion hotspots have been reduced by 30% because the charge has cut traffic levels. Transport chiefs say it's improved travel in London. A key factor is the revenue raised by the charge. This has been ploughed back into improving public transport into central London, like testing new fuel cell buses which run on solar power. It's also meant that there are more buses on the roads, which is seeing a renaissance in use over the past few years. The impact of the charge has not only helped improve the environment, but also the timekeeping of public transport. The success of the congestion charging is being monitored by transport chiefs in other major cities around the globe.
And Israeli orthopedic surgeons have performed the first ever computer-assisted hip replacement surgery. Hip replacement, a significant and complex orthopedic procedure, is increasingly in demand as the population ages and the hip joint becomes more brittle. Until recently, hip replacement surgery was a major procedure for the patient and the surgeons. To reduce the impact of the operation on the patient, doctors sought ways to minimize the incision. The new sophisticated computer navigation system provides surgeons with an accurate three-dimensional virtual picture of the surgical area on the computer screen as they proceed with the operation. According to the virtual picture and data that appear on the screen, surgeons now know in advance exactly where to enter the hip, where to position the replacement, and are aware of their location inside the hip at every stage of the surgery. The complex procedure is conducted through a minimal incision of 2 inches. Special sensors on the patient transmit data to the computer indicating the location of the hip joint relative to the space at the site. A fluoroscope machine provides the basis of the virtual picture through the transmission of an X-ray image of the hip to the computer. The state-of-the-art technologies was developed by an American corporation.
With a staggering 250,000 flowers on display at their Orchids Exposed exhibition, horticultural experts at Kew Gardens are expecting large crowds of visitors. Thousands of exotic species have been brought in from Europe and Asia and arranged next to Kew's own collection in an explosion of colour to celebrate the diversity and beauty of the world's most popular flower. It's the 10th annual Orchid Festival at Kew, and this year's theme explores why it's not only humans who find orchids irresistibly attractive. The exhibition explains how orchids have evolved in their stunning shapes and colours as a way of ensuring their survival and reproduction by using insects as pollen couriers. The Orchid Festival aims to bring attention to conservation issues. Many species are endangered due to overharvesting by collectors. One species discovered in Vietnam in 1999 was extinct just 2 years later. Orchids are found all over the world, from the Arctic to the jungles of South America and Southeast Asia. More than 25,000 different species have been discovered so far.
London Fashion Winter 2005 week may be in full swing, but Israeli models are giving the catwalk crowd a taste of what is in store for spring 2004. Residents of the coastal Israeli town of Tel Aviv were treated to a colourful fashion show by Israeli clothing company Castro Women, featuring MTV Europe's VJ Becky Griffin as the new face of the company. Rebecca Griffin was born in Tel Aviv, Israel, but spent most of her early years growing up in the United States. The model actress studied film at Tel Aviv University and after a national competition is now residing in London as MTV European's main presenter. The Castro model strutted down the catwalk in feminine 50s style glamour, in pink skirts and hot red lips to a hot remix of American R&B singer Khalees's song Milkshake. The Castro women's and men's fashion company, which has been in business for over 50 years and has 42 stores throughout Israel, will open its first international store in Germany. After a 36-month Palestinian uprising, Israel is trying to break back into the Western consumer market as their economy starts to emerge from a 3-year recession. Castro chose Griffin to launch their international campaign and to appeal to their new German clients. Now on to London Fashion Week, and Joseph Conran, one of Britain's leading designers, sought inspiration in the world of horse riding and romance. One of the modelling stars for Conran was Jodie Kidd, while Ashley Isham had Alex Weck, one of the rising names on the catwalk. Quality of cut is visible in Joseph Conran's designs. The theme for the autumn and winter collection looked to the 19th century, evoking the moonlit horse rides and romantic meetings. Jodie Kidd was one of the first to display the latest look for more formal occasions. With high boots much in evidence, the collection concentrated on muted colours, with the occasional dramatic combinations, such as the pony skin leather coat. For evening wear, the choice was often full length and flowing. And now on to Ashley Isham with the deep blue overcoat, which was made from eel skin. The dress, whether full length or knee length, gave a sweeping impression of grace and style. The mosaic of patterns came from the influence of knit, combined with classic tailoring that looked equally good in trouser suits. Inspiration came from the paintings of Gustav Klimt and the dandelion floral motifs of another in the Art Nouveau movement, Erte. Ashley took a lesson from his school days for his show. The official women's wear designer for the recent BAFTAs, British Academy Film Awards, said his passion for Art Nouveau began as a student. As for many designers showing at London Fashion Week, the collection represented 6 months of work. Inspiration can come overnight or long after periods of group discussions. The traditional black of the dresses, well cut and flowing, the classic look of the formal evening, evincing style and grace. The autumn colours were given a final boost by vivid red as Ashley Isham created a dashing look for winter. The shows were a huge success, the gorgeous designs holding a classic simplicity which won approval from viewers and critics alike.
We have come to our travel section, and this one is about the ancient monolithic Stonehenge. A public inquiry is underway into plans to redevelop and protect one of the most famous ancient monuments in the world. It's hoped to restore the majestic and mysterious Neolithic stone circle of Stonehenge and its surrounding tombs and earthwork to something like it may have been in the Neolithic period. The £183 million plan aims to return the Salisbury Plain back to the traditional unspoiled chalk grazing land by building a 1.3-mile tunnel underneath the monument, so the adjacent A303 road and its traffic are neither seen nor heard. A number of environmental groups, including the Campaign to Protect Rural England, have been invited to participate in the inquiry. Plans also include a new £57 million visitor centre to be built outside the World Heritage Site. So next time you travel to the Salisbury Plains, you may be greeted with peace and quiet and the ancient mystery of Stonehenge.
Now onto a story that's a bit on the nose. It looks like a plastic oil burner, and that isn't too far away from its usage. This green and red scent dome is a device that transmits smells over the internet. You can already chat, email, download music and watch videos through the internet. But imagine being able to smell fresh seaside air from the heart of the city, or savour the smell of your favourite restaurant's cuisine while booking a table, or indeed send your girlfriend the perfume of freshly picked flowers straight to her email account. This could soon be possible with the arrival of Britain's first scent mail facility. The new technology is currently being tested in laboratories of UK company Tallywest Broadband. Developed in America, it is already available to buy on the internet, although it is not yet a finished product. It is believed that the scent dome could revolutionise the internet. It has massive potential for the consumer market. It could be one-to-one personal emails where you want to personalize your message with a smell, good or bad. It also has massive marketing potential as well. We take scent so seriously subconsciously when we're making buying decisions. The revolutionary technology works in conjunction with a high-speed broadband internet connection, enabling people to send and receive codes to special scent domes. They mix liquid smells and spray them into the air around the PC. Even online shopping services benefit with the added dimension of smell. The possibilities are limitless. The internet taking us to new places. So take a deep breath and see what you think.
And finally, after almost 1 month, a crew of 6 men and 1 woman are poised to cross the Sudan after navigating rapids and waterfalls in northern Uganda. The team set off from the source of the Nile on an historic expedition to navigate the full 6,700 kilometre length of the Nile. The crew have already encountered uncharted rapids, hundreds of hippos, crocodiles and even elephants. The 7-strong crew are hoping to make history during the journey of several thousand kilometres. They had to enlist the help of locals to carry their raft around the Murchison Falls in North Uganda, which was a bit too much even for their daring standards. The journey set off almost a month ago from the Ugandan banks of Lake Victoria, charted a course through Uganda, Sudan and finally Egypt, where the river pours its murky brown waters into the Mediterranean Sea. The 6,700 kilometre trip will be done in 2 rafts named Princess and Happy in the Ugandan section before some limited use of motors will be necessary in the calmer parts of the river from Sudan onwards. The crew has managed various stretches of rapids but have been accosted by other amazing scenes along the route. Further down the river, an amazing scene and hundreds of hippos laze on the bank. Some even venture out to graze. A herd of elephants also come down for a drink and a bath. As they arrive at this village on the Ugandan-Sudan border, the mood changes as they plan for their security in a region that none of them have ever travelled into before. The trip could take 6 months or more depending on the challenges along the route, but all members of the team are determined to stay the course to completion. Well, that's all we have time for this week. We look forward to your company next time.